What's up? Episode 10, Warren's Vlog. I want to apologize to y'all. I'm getting this video done a little late. I wanted to get this out to you earlier. And normally I'm punctual, so, I'll have SmackDown done at the normal time this week and everything else. So, Raw, now it's 9/8. This happened on September 6th. We start off Raw with like an old school 80s promo, right? Where you see the guys, it's not quite like the square graphic that it used to be, but it's like each team has something to say. I didn't really write down what each team said, but I just like the fact that each team said something. Like the Viking Raiders said, "We're going to raid again." New Day, "We're going to win because New Day rocks." Like each team has something to say. And then we start the show with RK Bro coming to the ring. And, of course, Riddle just being Riddle says, Riddle says something about we could be the Snake and Stallion Express. Like, he gives backhanded compliments to every team that's, like, in the match. But it's not intentional backhanded compliments. Because of Riddle's character. Like, you gotta understand Riddle's character. He's silly, he's out there. Like he even made a weed reference on the show, talking about getting the munchies. So, like, he complimented each team that was in the match, but it kind of came off like a backhanded compliment, but it's like the Snake and Stallions reference. Something else about, like, oh, I hope New Day brings out pancakes, or stuff like that. So, of course, they're interrupted by Bobby Lashley and MVP. MVP gets a pop, and it took me a while to put two and two together. It wasn't until the main event where he came out, and Corey Graves was like, oh, MVP is back in his hometown in Miami, Florida. The fans are coming alive for him. I didn't really get that MVP was from Miami. Like, I knew that in the back of my mind, but it just took me a while to catch on. I'm slow. So, they exchange words. Actually, a lot is really set up here, and I excuse me if I'm looking down, but I gotta look at my notes, because they set up a lot of stuff here. So Bobby Lashley challenges Orton to a match, because he didn't like the fact that he got snuck RKO'd last week. And then Orton says, well, I want a shot at the WWE title, and I guess that's just how title shots are given now. I want a title shot. Okay, you can have one. So, Bobby Lashley challenges Randy Orton for a match, and Randy Orton says, under one condition, as long as it's for the WWE title. So, that gets set up for Extreme Rules. Then Bobby Lashley and MVP say, well, Bobby Lashley says, I am a greedy son of a bitch. I do want more titles. So guess what? We're going to be in the Tag Team Turmoil match. Now, there's a problem with this, and I'll get to it later on. So then the New Day comes out, and they talk shit, and it's revealed that they're the first team to enter this Tag Team Turmoil. So I'm thinking, well, I'll talk about it now. So, okay. You had to know. Well, first off, I accidentally spoiled it for myself. I was reading something online, and it said that Bobby Lashley and MVP won. But even without the spoiler, you kind of knew they were going to win. Like, there's a better way that they could have done this. Like, don't announce that you're in the fucking match. Like, this is the perfect example. I'll take you back to Armageddon 2003. The Dudley Boys, who I believe were the tag team champions, they went through tag team turmoil. They beat a bunch of teams. And then at the last minute, Batista and Ric Flair came out, and Eric Bischoff announced them as the final team. And then Batista and Ric Flair beat the Dudleys for the tag titles. And then that was the show at the end of the night where Triple H won back his world title. Randy Orton won his first title in the WWE, the Intercontinental title. And, Batista and Rick had the tag title. So at the end of the night, you had all of Evolution with the tag team championships. I say that to say, let it be a surprise. Like, don't give it away. I mean, you could have even said something dumb like, Orton, you want to call me a greedy son of a bitch? Well, I'll show you just how greedy I can be. And, I mean, even with that line that I just gave right there, that probably gives it away that they're going to be in the tag team turmoil match. But that's better than just announcing the trick. Well, they didn't announce. They said, oh, we're going to go talk to Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce, and we're going to go see if we can be in this tag team turmoil match. But that in itself doesn't make sense. Because, number one, how the fuck can MVP just say, okay, Bobby Lashley is going to defend his WWE title at Extreme Rules, but then has to go ask for permission to be in the tag team turmoil match from Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce. So the general managers, or whatever the fuck they are, their power is inconsistent because wrestlers can make matches, can make a WWE title match. So that's not even what I want to talk about, but I just realized that. So first off, don't announce. They should not have announced that Bobby Lashley and MVP were going to be in the match because that gives it away that they're going to win. They did one swerve, though, that caught me off guard, and I'll get to the swerve when I get to it. But it was still not a surprise that Bobby Lashley and MVP were going to win. All right, so we start with Tag Team Turmoil. Excuse me, I'm looking down, so I got to look at my notes here. So New Day, the first team of the Viking Raiders, they get eliminated by the New Day. They put up a good showing, but they get eliminated. Then Veer and Jinder Mahal come out, and they put up a good showing, but they get eliminated. The Lucha House Party come out. They get eliminated by the New Day. So these are three teams that the New Day has beaten. Then T-Bar and Mace also get eliminated by the New Day, and I really like the finish to this. And it's fresh in my mind because they showed it multiple times. So Mace or T-Bar, whoever, Dijakovic, I'll just call him that, all right? He has this move where it's like a torture rack, and then he like flips you over your knee, and then it's like a weird GTS on steroids, okay? Oh, shout out to CM Punk and Darby Allin, match of the night. That was a great pay-per-view. A quick sidebar. AEW All Out was incredible. Punk's return in the ring was great. Seeing Adam Cole show up, seeing Bryan Danielson show up, seeing Ruby Soho show up, even JR called her Ruby Wyatt. God bless JR. Only thing is, I think on the Omega and Christian match was good, but I think it just suffered from just that was a long ass show, and motherfuckers was tired and they didn't care. So like the post match shit was what brought the fans back with Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson coming back. Sidebar over. Anyway, the Dijakovic has this move where it's like I'm just gonna call it a GTS on steroids because he has a torture rack and kind of like what Lex Luger used to do, but like you're more rigid and then you do the knee thing. Anyway, he did that. Xavier countered it and pinned him 1, 2, 3. And then T-Bar and Mace, in this moment, looked stronger than they have ever looked on the main roster. I mean, I'm talking about the Retribution shit. I'm talking about everything. These guys beat the shit out of the New Day. And then Mansoor and Ali came out because they were the next team to enter the tag team turmoil. And, you know, Ali's like, hold up. Mansoor's like, no, we got to help him. I really like this dynamic between Mansoor and Ali because Ali's like, do whatever it takes to win. And Mansoor's like, no, I want to do it the righteous way. So Mansoor runs in there and gets his ass beat. So Ali runs in to help and gets his ass beat. Oh, and this fucking, this ring post spot, I don't forget who it was. I think it was T-Bar or Mace, but they threw Ali into the ring post, and the bump that Ali took was so fucking great. Like, it just, oh man, it was great. I could watch it. I watched it like 5 times, and well, WWE replayed it. 2 times throughout the show, several times throughout the show. And it was great. I loved it. So you got 2 teams that are laid the fuck out. And then Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce comes out, and we see this during the commercial break, but they show it when we get back on the air. They're like, oh, no. This tag team turmoil is not going to end like that tonight. So we're going to stop this match now, and then we're going to have it later. What the fuck? First off, double dislike, okay? So I gave it a dislike and then I gave it a double dislike just for part 1 and part 2. And part 2 had a swerve, but I'll talk about it when I get to it. Anyway, that is not how a tag team turmoil match works, okay? The tag team turmoil is continuous. It's like the Royal Rumble. You don't have a Royal Rumble and then 2 people get hurt and we're like, oh, well, we're just going to stop this Royal Rumble right now and just continue this later. Let's have some other matches first. No, tag team turmoil is supposed to be continuous because the New Day's progression is not as impressive because they had an hour break in between. You know? It's still impressive and it shows the New Day is strong or whatever. But it's not as impressive because you have a break in between. So I did not like that at all. The action, in the matches themselves were okay, but I didn't like the breakup in between. This video is sponsored by Mountain Dew. Alright, so then we go to Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. And this show was very number 1 contender heavy, which I don't mind. This is an observation. So we go Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus, and it's the number 1 contendership for the U.S. title. And whenever you see Drew McIntyre and Sheamus on the card, they're going to beat the shit out of each other. It is what it is. And, they're friends outside of, so friends usually tend to have good matches with each other. And friends are usually a little bit more stiff with each other because they are friends. So, there's not really much. I mean, I wrote some notes down. I like the spine buster that Drew hit on Sheamus. I did think it was a little low. I think even Corey Graves said, man, that could have really hurt Sheamus' tailbone. But I always like the steamboat press that Drew McIntyre does, the roll through pin. I really appreciate how athletically agile Drew McIntyre is for his size. I can't say it enough. At the end of the match, Drew McIntyre took off Sheamus' mask, and it was like this moment, like, oh my god, he took his mask off, like he's, Drew's gonna win now, Drew's gonna fuck him up. And then he took the mask off, and Drew McIntyre still got rolled up 1, 2, 3. So I kind of like how they teased, like, oh, well, Sheamus just lost his face protector. Drew's going to win, and then Sheamus gets rolled up. I also like how Drew McIntyre went for the Glasgow kiss, and, Sheamus had the metal mask, and he went for the Glasgow kiss headbutt, and it was like, oh, shit, he's got the mask on. And then Sheamus headbutted him. It gives me flashbacks of, like, the D'Lo Brown chest protector, or, like, Cody Rhodes' face mask gimmick that he had against Rey Mysterio. Call back to stuff like that. So that was cool. So Sheamus is the number 1 contender. We go backstage. Damian Priest basically cuts a promo saying that he's going to beat Sheamus. I believe that this match is going to happen in Extreme Rules. I don't want to harp on last week, but I'm going to say it again. I think last week Damian Priest's win was a defining moment in his main roster career, beating Drew McIntyre and Sheamus in that triple threat match. So hopefully at Extreme Rules we can raise the bar a little bit higher. Pun intended. Sheamus, the bar. Hopefully we can raise the bar a little bit higher. Maybe get a stipulation in there like a Belfast Brawl or something with Finlay as the referee. Okay, it's midnight. What do you want from me? All right, so then we go to Rhea Ripley versus Nikki Ash. Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash, which is like a big sister having to look after her little sister. Like, that's the dynamic that I'm getting between these two. And the Wrestling Natalia and Tamina for a number 1 contendership for the tag team championships. when Natalia and Tamina are the tag team champions. Stop fucking doing this shit. It's lazy. And then, it's lazy as fuck. Like, stop. Just stop. Create number one contenders by not having the champion in the match. Like, it's not hard. And then the commentators, they completely forget that Shotzi and Shotzi and Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart beat them a couple weeks ago in the number one contenders match. But they kind of just gloss over it like, Tegan and Knox got a victory over them a couple weeks ago, but they completely omit the fact that was a number one contenders match. So we now have two teams that have beaten the women's tag team champions. The only thing I can think of to do now is, since you have these two teams, since we have a pay-per-view coming up, all the rosters are under one banner, do a triple threat thingamajig. I don't know. It's a triple threat table elimination match. I'm just throwing shit out there. It's Extreme Rules. Stop doing that shit. Stop doing that shit. Oh, man. Anyway, the match was fine. I gave the match a like because you got four capable workers in there who are really good at what they do. Well, three, and then Tamina. I kid. I love Tamina. But, the match was fine. Natalia went for the sharpshooter on Nikki Ash if she wasn't legal. So then, Rhea Ripley hit the Riptide, which I'm going to talk about it every week. I'm going to shit on it every week. I'm not going to shit on... It's not that I'm shitting on the move. I feel like it's just not a good... It's a good move, but I feel like Rhea should have a better finisher. And I'm going to shit on it every week. I don't care. I'm just going to keep... I'm going to keep bringing up the Road Dogg every week. Oh, you didn't know? Ooh, my voice cracked. Anyway, so Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash are number one contenders. And like I said, if WWE decides to remember that Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart are number one contenders, either have a number one contender match to where someone could be the undisputed number one contender, or just have a triple threat. Either way, stop doing that shit. It's lazy as fuck. Moist TV. I was about to give it an X for a dislike, but I'm like, let me just see how it plays out. And it turns out it was just like a 2-minute interview where Morrison was interviewing Karrion Kross. And basically Morrison, what are your plans, going forward? And Karrion Kross was like, yeah, I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to whoop your ass. And Morrison's like, well, I'm sure you have aspirations to be the U.S. champion, the WWE champion, And he's like, yeah, I could do that too, but I'm going to whoop your ass. And I'm paraphrasing. He didn't quite say that. I forget what his catchphrase is. Everyone, you will bow down and pray or some shit. I'm still not crazy about the gimmick. I did think the match was good, even though it was a squash. They did why isn't the drift stick a disqualification? It's a foreign object. It's the same shit last week when fucking Omos grabbed Orton, who was a part of the match, and the referee didn't ring the bell. These inconsistent referees in the rules, that's annoying. Anyway, any object that's brought into the ring, and is used as a weapon, should be a disqualification. That drift stick should have been a disqualification. Anyway, they did what I think would be a great Royal Rumble spot. So Karrion Kross is in the corner, and Morrison, I think he did a stinger splash or something. Anyway, he got Karrion Kross caught him in a weird T-bone suplex and literally threw John Morrison over the top rope. But he threw him over the ring post, which I thought was a hell of a spot. Obviously Morrison, he's flippy and he does that parkour shit. So he kind of helped out with that. But I thought that was an amazing spot, and honestly, I think it should be a Rumble spot. Or it could be a Rumble spot. So then you got him back in the ring, got the cross jacket on, Morrison tapped out, yada yada. I gave it a like. It was what it was. It was a squash match, but I really liked that over the top, over the ring post spot. That's what put it over the top for me. Over the top, pun intended. All right. So earlier, Charlotte basically had a promo, and she said that in response to what Nia Jax said last week about sticking the crown up Charlotte's behind, Charlotte said, "I'm gonna take that crown and bash her over the head with it. Long live the queen." I don't know why I get like line. I don't want. And again, I talked about last week how things are cool until WWE makes it a thing. Like, we want the smoke was cool until WWE made it a thing. Charlotte's been saying this "Long live the queen" catchphrase for a couple weeks now, and I don't want them to slap it on a t-shirt because unlike, we want the smoke, and I think the other example I used was "get these hands." Unlike that, "Long live the queen" is fucking retarded. I get Lion King vibes. Like, oh shit, long live the queen. And then like Ric Flair just grabs Charlotte and just throws her off a cliff. Oh shit. Oh my god. Anyway, I don't know why. I just had a breakdown there. So Charlotte says she's going to take the crown and bash Nia over the head with it. And then in response to that, Nia says that she's going to finish what she started last week, and she's going to walk out the Raw Women's Champion. I'm going to explain the problem I have with this booking when I get to that match, which I believe is next. So yes, we have Charlotte versus Nia Jax, and they appear. Oh, before the match starts, Shayna Baszler does the same thing that Nia Jax did last week, and basically said, "I don't know if my partner can beat you or not." Yada yada yada. I get that they're doing like the slow burn, breaking them apart or whatever, but if this doesn't pull the trigger on their breakup, then they need to do it soon because I'm starting to get tired of it. So, they appear, Charlotte and Nia Jax, they appear to start shoot fighting again, and that makes me think, it makes me question whether what happened last week was a shoot or not, or if it was a shoot last week, this makes me think, okay, let's fuck with the fans a little bit and just go out there and start work shooting to start the match, because that's what it looked like. So it's one or the other. Either it was real last week, and they wanted to capitalize on it by turning it into a work, or maybe last week was a work, and it's a work, and it's like a shoot, and it's a work shoot, and then you work yourself into a shoot, brother. I don't know. Anyway, it was messy at the beginning. Their match last week was better, or their match this week was better than their match last week. And so after they had their little work shoot fight, Charlotte starts screaming, "You want to pull my hair? Pull my hair!" And that was just weird. And then it looks like Charlotte does the "suck it" chant. Like, she's screaming, "Pull my hair," and she's doing the "suck it" chant. Or it looked like it to me. Like, it wasn't like a full-on that, but it was like pointing to her crotch. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? Charlotte hit her moonsault. They went with the distraction trope. Wrestler gets distracted by another wrestler, and then the wrestler they're facing hits their finishing move and wins. But I do like the natural selection from the top rope because it's a believable move to do against a larger opponent. So I thought that was well executed. Charlotte retains the women's title. Alexa Bliss shows up on the Titantron and says, "I want you to come to the Playhouse." Charlotte says, "No, hell no, I ain't coming to the Playhouse." So Alexa Bliss says, "Well, we'll just have to bring the Playhouse to you." And apparently now Alexa Bliss is the Undertaker and just can appear in the ring. Um, yeah. So here's my problem with this booking. They set up a match for it would be announced later on that the match would happen in Extreme Rules. So 2 weeks ago, they teased Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair having a program. And I said that, that would be cool because the last program or interaction that they had was Survivor Series 2018, 17, 16. I don't know. It was a Raw versus SmackDown thing. And I think Alexa was on Raw and Charlotte was on SmackDown, and they had the champions face each other. That's the only interaction that they had. So it's a fresh program for Charlotte. It's fresh for Alexa Bliss. And if that's the angle that you were going, if that's the angle you were going with, then why did you stop that angle to do the Nia Jax angle? I know it's been reports that Vince McMahon has been ripping up the script to Raw like 2 hours before the show and rewriting it, so maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe the 1 week Vince forgot that he was going to go with the Alexa Bliss program and then went with the Nia Jax thing. And now that Charlotte's beaten Nia Jax, oh, wait, I forgot we were going to do Alexa Bliss, so maybe they just got back on course. Either way, Alexa's gimmick aside, I really don't like the gimmick, but I think that a title run would revitalize her a little bit because she is starting to get stale. So I think Alexa Bliss is in my prediction, my pre-prediction, because of course I'm gonna do the pay-per-view prediction for Extreme Rules that week. But I'm just letting y'all know right now what my prediction is. I think Alexa Bliss is going to beat Charlotte Flair at Extreme Rules. Even though I do think by doing that, you hot potato the title because, Nikki ASH had it. Then Charlotte won it back, and then you would be hot potatoing the title. But I think that is the best way to revitalize Alexa Bliss, if, in my opinion. So, all right. The Alexa stuff was good. I gave that a like. 24/7 shit. It's gonna get an X. It's gonna get a dislike. In my notes every week, I'm gonna write 24/7 shit. Get it the fuck off of my television. No. I'm not discounting Reggie's athleticism. I thought Reggie and Akira Tozawa had a nice little match. The best part of this was seeing Drake Maverick return. That was cool, I guess. But yeah, dislike. Also, Alexa showing up in the ring was like the loudest that the crowd has been to that point in the show. They would reach that volume during the main event, but I'll get to that later. So even Dewdrop recap, I gave that whole segment a dislike. And Dewdrop had the audacity to say it's going to be a Dewdrop illusion. I'm done. Like, I was done with this angle when they started it. But Dewdrop challenged Alexa to another match. One thing I will give them credit for, I do like the fact that Dewdrop brought up the point that Eva Marie has a history of bailing out on matches, tying into her prior gimmick, in 2016 or 2017 or whenever she was last with the company. So I do like that storytelling a little bit. I like how they tied that in. But that's it. Other than that, this storyline can go to hell. Dewdrop deserves better. Put her in the women's title picture. Like, imagine Dewdrop and Nia Jax. Like, that would be amazing. Like, build to that. I don't know. Dewdrop illusion. Get the fuck out of here. Alright, so now we are on part 2 of Tag Team Turmoil, and I already gave part 2 a dislike at the beginning of this episode that I'm filming here. So, But that's not to say that the matches or the action was bad. So we go to New Day. They make their entrance. Mustafa Ali and Mansoor make their entrance, and Mansoor is showing compassion because Xavier Woods is hurt, and that's just being stupid. Um, I don't even want to say that's him being a babyface. That's just him being fucking retarded. So Ali tags in. Um, he gets Kofi down. He goes for the 450. He misses. Kofi connects with Trouble in Paradise. I think that was the move that beat him. So then Mustafa Ali and Mansoor get eliminated. Then AJ Styles and Omos come out, and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be WrestleMania all over again. And this is where they did the swerve. Now, I told you earlier that I kind of spoiled it for myself accidentally online when I saw that Bobby Lashley and MVP won Tag Team Turmoil. That being said, I kind of figured, well, okay, if Bobby Lashley and MVP won, then New Day is gonna beat AJ Styles and Omos because why would you have a heel versus heel at the end of the tag team turmoil? It would just make sense for New Day to just go to distance, even though they had an hour break. But I'm past that now. So it would make sense for New Day to go to distance. But instead, we get heel versus heel. But then, if you think about it, we really don't get heel versus heel because we're in Miami and they're cheering for MVP, and then they start cheering for Bobby Lashley. So it's like, I mean, yeah, we're not really on paper it's heel versus heel, but MVP and Bobby Lashley are getting shooter because they're in Miami. So then, Omos throws Bobby Lashley out of the ring, and he gets up and he's face to face with Randy Orton. So then AJ Styles runs behind the announce table, gets on the announce table, takes out Randy Orton and Bobby Lashley. And the commentary is like, oh, well, they probably did that because if Randy Orton would have hit MVP, it would have cost them the match. But see, last week, Omos got involved in the tag match and there wasn't a disqualification. So that's what I mean with the inconsistent rules that are followed and not followed. Although that was a cool looking spot. So AJ took both of them out. Then Omos took Riddle out. And then AJ Styles went for the phenomenal forearm. Bobby Lashley ducked and then hit the spear on AJ and got the 1-2-3. It was really cool to see Bobby Lashley and Omos meet up in the ring. That was kind of a cool moment. So after that was earlier. So after Bobby Lashley hits the spear of AJ Styles, then Omos drops him with the tree bomb or the collie bomb. Let's call it the tree bomb. And then Orton hits Bobby Lashley with the RKO for the second week in a row to close the show. And that's how we go off the air. Yeah, so the action in the tag team turmoil match, part 1 and part 2 was okay, but I don't like the idea of splitting it up. I guess it kind of makes sense to have the matches book in the show, but I didn't like that. And also, I don't like the whole. Here's the thing: Raw has 3 hours to play with. Okay. Each championship should have their own storyline. Okay? You have the WWE title, you have the US title, you got the Raw tag titles, and you got the Raw women's title. Each title should have their own storyline. I don't feel like they should intermingle. Okay? So I don't really like that. So we know next week, unless Vince McMahon decides to rip up the script again, we know next week that it's going to be Bobby Lashley and MVP versus Randy Orton and Riddle, RK Bro. Considering that they already had a tag title match last week, this is kind of hard to call. I don't know if Randy Orton or Riddle are going to lose the tag titles. Because that makes me think, well, you put the tag titles on Bobby Lashley and MVP, and then Bobby Lashley beats Randy Orton at Extreme Rules. So it's like, I don't know. It's hard to tell right now. So that's how the show ended. And you got to believe that Bobby Lashley's beating Randy Orton because twice Orton has dropped him with the RKO. So um, who knows? All right, so we get to the end of the show. We got 6 likes, 5 dislikes, and my show grade is going to be a C. I didn't, like I said, I don't like the tag team turmoil, the 24/7 shit, the dewdrop shit. Even though I had more likes than dislikes, um, numerically, yeah, I had more likes than dislikes, but the dislikes that were they were really bad. And I think the only thing that really saved this show from getting lower than a C was because I had more likes than dislikes. But so this is a quite frankly below average episode of Raw, and I'm doing it a favor by giving it a C and not a C minus or not even lower. So that's my review of Monday Night Raw. I'll have SmackDown for you this weekend, and we're gonna keep moving towards Extreme Rules. So, all right, I'm Warren Freeman. I'm out. You guys have a nice night.